Boom, shakalaka boom. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts right now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards, coming at you live here on 103.9 FM WYAB, streaming worldwide at Clay Edwards Show on Rumble and at Save JXN on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Let's put the X in X. I ain't gonna say it. I know there's kids in the car. Good morning out there to everybody. Man, it's still dark. It's 7 o'clock. That's weird. Anyway, hey, look, I'm only going to address this one time here at the beginning of the show this morning. We are aware that there is some choppy stuff going on with the signal. That is not a WYAB issue at all. AT&T, our tower sites, the internet to them is AT&T. Well, there's a massive AT&T outage all throughout the Jackson Tri-County area this morning. It is out of our control. There's nothing we can do about it, and it has nothing to do with us directly. So if you want to listen to the show in pristine audio and video, I recommend switching over to the live stream on YouTube, Facebook, X, or Rumble. So again, nothing we can do about it. Not our fault. We did nothing wrong. It is AT&T. Point your ire at AT&T. They are having system-wide outages this morning with their internet stuff. So nothing I can do about it. But hey, it ain't going to stop me from rocking and rolling. Sounds good in my headphones. So we're going to keep on keeping on. Appreciate everybody tuning in this morning. I guess our 50,000 watts broke the internet. I'm kidding. That's not what happened. I know somebody's going to say that's what happened. All right. Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. We are live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. Guys, get those testosterone screenings. You can text my name, Clay, 601-800-5130. Get your free testosterone screening today. Get it scheduled today. All right, so look, I made a decision yesterday not to go up to Oxford, so I don't have anything to talk about there as far as the J.D. Vance stuff. I saw a few of the clips, saw some photos and whatnot. Looks like it was packed. I heard they probably turned away about 10,000 people, according to our very own Andrew Gosser. Said it was insane up there. And that is exactly why I made an executive decision not to go and fight the crowd and the weather and then have to get back here and do a radio show. And I have no regrets about that decision. Not a single regret at all. And if you know what I'm talking about with regrets, if not, I promise I know the word is regret. Just like the Democrats, they're going to have a lot of regret here in a couple of days as we are ever so closely inching to EBT apocalypse here in central Mississippi and around the country, as the Poorses are going to be doing without their EBT. And, you know, again, I can't wait. I think it's going to be a great day here in the state of Mississippi. It's going to be a great day around America. This is what I voted for if it happens. If we can just get there. I see where Trump made a big announcement this morning over there in China. Everybody said, oh, the tariffs. All the rhino Republicans out there and the Democrats said the tariffs ain't going to work. Tariffs ain't going to work. It's bad for economy. The tariffs ain't going to work. Tariffs, not terrorists. Well, same thing. Tariffs ain't going to work. Well, China bent the knee this morning, and the tariffs have been lifted on China, and they will, in fact, be buying all sorts of stuff from America, including soybean. So give it up to Big Daddy Trump. This is what we voted for. This is what we voted for. It's just amazing to me. Like, what's Trump's record now on being right when everybody said he was going to be wrong? You know, like, some people just forget how negotiations work. I believe Democrats call it leverage. Not leverage, leverage. It's funny, like, sometimes you got to make people suffer to get what you want. And that's what Democrats are doing right now to the Poorses. They're about to make their constituents suffer so they can attempt to get what they want. which is free health care for illegal aliens. And they ain't going to get it. The poor's is just going to have to suffer. Now, it ain't the Republicans doing this. We have voted. Our side has voted to continue funding all of these ridiculous programs. It's the Democrats who have shut it down. This is what the party that's not in control does. They throw hissy fits and shut the government down when they don't get what they want. Now, we're probably, unless we can take a little bit more majority control in the Senate and, of course, in the House, we're going to continue to have these problems every year throughout the Trump presidency, because this is what little sissies do. They throw sissy fits and they shut things down when they don't get what they want. Now, we could have avoided this. I think we need 6 Democrats to flip in the Senate to vote and keep the government open. And I think I was listening to somebody yesterday. There's 4 of them, and I don't know their names, but it's the 2 that represent Virginia and the 2 that represent Maryland. They expect to flip. These are cities, or these are states, I'm sorry, where they have a lot of federal employees. And those federal employees are going to be tightening up the screws the longer they go without their paychecks. So we can anticipate those 4 flipping. Then we're just going to need 2 more from Democrat states, or states that have a lot of people on welfare. Because I'm telling you, when the EBT apocalypse hits, oh, they're going to be calling them phones. They're going to be threatening them. I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. I'm here for it. Man, we got a lot I want to talk about this morning. The show's going to be a little all over the place because I'm all over the place with what I want to talk about today. I was getting ready. I was doing a little extra show prep this morning in my office here. And I rarely check my Facebook. I rarely do, like my comments or anything. But every now and then I'll see a notification where Clay got tagged in something. And I'm like, what's that? And some just big old black girl shared one of my posts. And we're doing a cannabis patient, get your cannabis card drive at Martin's at the end of the month, at the end of November 22nd, I believe. Anyway, I just shared it, and she's like, oh, this is why Clay was drunk and high driving around Rankin County. So now they're trying to twist what happened in that video at the gas station the other night into me being drunk and high. It's just funny. It's just funny the things idiots say. So anyway, I shared it. I go flipping through her Facebook page, because every now and then when somebody talks trash about me, I'm like, well, let's go see if we got any low-hanging fruit over there on their social medias. And oh boy, did we have some low-hanging fruit over on their social medias. We absolutely had some low-hanging fruit. I shared it on my X. I'm probably going to share it on my Facebook here at the end of the show once I wake up completely. But if y'all want to see what she looks like, what big old girl looks like, go to @SaveJXN on X, and you can see the screenshots there. Let's see here. I got a text on the Guns and Gear text line. It says, the big takeaway from last night is that JD sealed his fate. He'll be the next president of the United States. Yep, I saw a couple clips of it as I was working out. So I just didn't watch the whole stream. I was trying to do some other stuff. Nothing extremely newsworthy came out of it, so I don't feel like I missed much. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. It's great. I'm not hating by no means. I just didn't want to drive up there and partake in it. But yeah, if y'all want to see the pictures of the big black girl that was that wanted to go intellectually toe to toe with the master this morning, swing over by my X account, formerly known as Twitter. Are we still doing that? Are we still saying formerly Twitter when we say X? Throw up the X sign. Anyway, so speaking of Facebook, I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff we're going to hit this morning. I'm bouncing around here in my opening monologue. Buddy of mine yesterday, he's always got my best interest in mind. He said, we were talking a little bit, and he brought up a comment under one of my Facebook posts. I didn't even ask which one. I'm guessing the one I posted about the homeless guy that we were able to get some medical help for last week, which is more than 99.99999% of you so-called do-gooders ever do. You know, we posted a picture of a man that was struggling. He was an amputee. He had been rolled out by UMC to the curb and just left there to marinate in his own feces for days at a time. And I made a post, and I was not incendiary at all. I was very polite and said, hey, we need to get this guy some help. What can we do? You know, I don't have the infrastructure in place to go pick up a homeless guy and do anything with him, but the hospitals do. You know, so I used the leverage of my followers. That's what Democrats keep calling what they're doing to their constituents right now on SNAP and EBT benefits. They're referring to making them suffer while they're still getting their pay as leverage to try to get what they want. So that's, if you wonder why I'm calling it leverage, why that is the new word of the day, that's because Democrats have made it the word of the day. So I leveraged my social media following to get this guy picked up and taken back to the hospital and get some help. And we did that, and I'm very proud of that. And that's the stuff that we get done that we don't brag about. You know, I do a lot of things behind the scenes that you guys don't know. I don't mind being the bad guy. I like being the heel. I'm never going to be the guy that runs around and gives homeless people money on camera like, oh, look at the good I did. Look at me. Look at me. My farts smell better than anybody's. I don't do that. That's just not me. I don't need self-flatulation or whatever it's called. I don't need y'all to like me. As a matter of fact, I would prefer you not like me. I mean, that suits me just as well. And I feel like we do a pretty good job at that. Because, and what I mean by that is, the people who do like me, I know it's coming from a genuine place. But if I got to go out there and do tricks and peep hop on a handstand and do all this other stuff for your attention, well, then I don't care. So I say all that to say this. My buddy saw a comment from a lawyer around town. Let's see if I can pull his name up here. I want to make sure I give credit where credit's due here. Let's see. So, he says, there was a guy under one of your posts, Bennett Rimmer, a local attorney here in town. And he goes out and visits these homeless people, takes them to Waffle House and visits with them. He challenged you or asked you to come out with him and come hear the stories and meet these people. And my friend suggested it would be good for my brand to go do that. And I texted him back in so many words, and I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to go out into Jackson and do stunts for people to try to like me. I know that people forget that I had a nightclub on Capitol Street, right across from Union Station, basically, when downtown was worse than it is now as far as activity. There was nothing on that end of Capitol Street except my nightclub after 5 o'clock. The King Edward hadn't been rebuilt yet. None of that. Bro, I've been dealing with these homeless people downtown longer than most of y'all have been driving. Again, grew up on Lynch Street, my dad's store. From the time I was old enough to, breathe, they built the thing in the 50s. So it predates me. So I literally grew up there until 2001, I think, when we finally closed it. And then we opened up the nightclub in downtown in 2003. So I got a long history of being in Jackson and dealing with low-income people or homeless people. I've heard every story, and some of it is very sympathetic. Some people, a very, very slim minority of the homeless people down there in Jackson are there because they slipped on hard times and they just can't seem to get back up. The overwhelming majority are down there because they slipped into drug abuse and alcohol abuse, and they refuse to take the help they've been given or they've been offered. And they continue to abuse it and continue to abuse it. And yes, are there some people who maybe they lost their families? I mean, just some kind of death and they slipped into depression. Yeah, that's out there. I don't want to discount that. But man, there's so many programs in place to help those people. Then there's the overwhelming majority, as I said, that they're full of crap. They're lying. They're con artists. They're extremely, extremely good at convincing you to feel sorry for them. Bro, there was this one homeless dude named Chris. I remember his name. He would see me, the same guy, at least 3 times a week, and told me a different story every time he saw me about how he needed to bum some money to get back to wherever he was going. And it's a story that usually goes something like this. My van is broke down, my work van, my company van is broke down. I got my family with me. They're over here at wherever the van allegedly is. And my company credit card, my gas card ain't working. Can you help me out? That's one version of the story. Then there's other versions of that story that aren't all the same. And they'll tell you this story over and over and over. I remember one time because I ain't going to give them money. I'm not giving homeless people money. I ain't going to do it. But you know what I did offer that guy? I said, I'll tell you what, man, let's go down to the train station. I'll put you and your family or you on a train, or a bus or what the hell ever, and we'll send you back to where you came from. We'll get you back home. Dang the company van. Man, that guy tried to fight me because he knew the jig was up. He knew that I knew that he was full of crap. And I could repeat that story 1,000 times, some version of that story 1,000 times of my interactions with the homeless people in downtown Jackson. I have done my time helping out with shower power. We've raised money for them. We've raised tons of clothes for them. Every time they've put out a need for jackets, jeans, socks, gloves, winter clothes, food, water, and anything else, I came on this airwaves right here and I asked y'all for help. And we did it. And we got them help. So to Bennett Rimmer and anybody else who thinks Clay needs to come to Jackson and walk around and hear these stories, for what? Are you going to like me a little more if I do? No, you're not. You're going to continue to say, yeah, well, now that you've done that, you need to do this. That just ain't going to be good enough. I'll continue doing things my way. I'll continue to help how I want to help, how I see fit to help. I'm not going to play y'all's little game. You keep going down there and you do what you do for social media clicks and views. And I'll do what I do for social media clicks and views. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back here on WYAB. Welcome back in to the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi Studios. This is the Clay Edwards Show here on 103.9 FM WYAB. Streaming in stunning HD, flawless HD at Save JXN on Facebook, YouTube, and X, and of course on Rumble at Clay Edwards Show. Hey, don't forget, I decided to extend the half-off sale over on the website at buyfafo.com on shirts, caps, flags, and anything else that's available over there. I've extended it through tomorrow night at midnight. The promo code is EBT. EBT gets you half off. Who says Clay ain't sympathetic to the Poorses out there? I'm a Poorses. So, yeah, just use the promo code EBT. Who would have thunk it? I'd be accepting EBT on my website as a promo code. Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Mazda Jackson phone line this morning, 601-879-0002. Get out to Guns and Gear today and shop their wide selection of guns, new and pre-owned. They have plenty of ammo there for you, as well as they take care of all your gunsmithing and Cerakoting needs. So many gun stores around here secretly send their work from customers to Guns and Gear for Cerakoting and gunsmithing. Why wouldn't you cut the middleman out and just take it directly to Hunter and his team yourself, because that's, of course, what you should do. If you knew that's what they were doing, you would do that, because you guys are smart. My listeners are very smart. They're very conscious of saving a little money and supporting locally owned businesses. So get out there, see them today. Hey, look, man, you need a good knife? They've got a great selection of high-end quality knives there at Guns and Gear. That's the gear part of Guns and Gear. Shop them online. Guns, the letter N, Guns in, like Guns N' Roses, gunsingear.co. Brand new website. It's up 24/7, 365, or stop by, see them in person. Tuesday through Saturdays there at Highway 51 North in Gluckstadt, Mississippi, right at Yandell Road. If you were heading north and you passed the fire station there at Yandell, you went too far. Turn around. It's in that shopping center there. Same shopping center as Barley's Beer Run. Man, I love a good craft beer. You know, obviously I'm not drinking as much as I once was because I'm trying to stay healthier. But, man, I love good heavy old craft beer. I'll drink a Mick Ultra or a Yingling Flight every now and then, you know, when I'm out and about. But, man, nothing's better than a good old thick Blue Moon type beer. That Mississippi Queen from Key City Brewery. Gosh, that stuff's so good. I'm gonna be over in Vicksburg filming that movie again this afternoon, and I would love nothing more than to go plop my butt down right there at the bar at Key City, get one of those good pizzas they got. I'm telling you, they're not a sponsor, but they should be, because I tell you what, I think I could sell Key City Brewery's beer and pizza better than they can. Look, that wood fire pizza or whatever, that fire grilled pizza, oh my God, it is so good. If you're in Vicksburg, or you just like pizza and you got some free time one day, if you like pizza and beer, and frankly, if you don't like pizza and beer, this is probably not going to be the show for you. Hey, I'm not saying you got to be a consumer of either. You know, you can be somebody that's on a diet or a recovering alcoholic or something, but that don't mean you don't like it. You just can't consume it anymore. Anyway, if you like pizza and beer, go over to Key City, sit down at the bar there or in the restaurant, out on the patio, wherever, and try to get you one of the flights of all the different beers. Like they do like little shot glasses of them, like rocks glasses, and you can try all the different ones. Mississippi Queen is my personal favorite, and it's so good there on draft. It's similar to a Blue Moon without the orange flavor. That's the best way to describe it. Kind of thicker, smooth, a Belgian stout type beer. But and then that pizza, the margarita. I always call it the margarita, but I think it's pronounced margarita. Anyway, real good. The pepperoni's great too. All right, free plug there for Key City. If you ever want to take Clay on a date, I don't care how ugly you are, you tell me you're buying and we're going to Key City, you got a date with Clay for the night. No homo. All right, let's sometimes I forget we're not just on the internet. Sometimes I forget we're not just on the internet. Let's see here. We got to take a break here again in a minute because I ran over, but I'm not going to do that to you quite so quick. Got a text on the Guns and Gear text line. Oh, by the way, we just hit 62,000 followers on my Facebook page, man. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. The goal is to hit 75 by the end of the year. It's going to be close, but the goal was 60, and we already hit that, so we're at 62. We've hit 2,000 more this week, so appreciate y'all hitting the follow button there. Let's see here. We've got a good text from somebody, unknown texter here on the Guns and Gear text line. It says, how do you know that ain't some sort of setup to catch you slipping again? Obviously, the haters are more active. I believe you played that well, way better than I would have for sure. And then he laughed at my no homo comment. Look, yeah, he said he's talking about the guy's invitation to go down to Jackson and conversate with the homeless people. Look, I don't want to discount people that do the Lord's work and get out there and they minister and they do all that stuff with the homeless and they help them out. If that's your calling, by all means, do it. I'm not hating on you. I'm not saying you're just doing it for clicks and views, even though y'all tell me everything I do is for clicks and views. So I'm just saying you do you. Because I could tell you, let's do the same thing and show you a whole nother side of Jackson. All you white liberal do-gooders that think that I just make these things up about the black people and the stuff that goes around here. Clay, That's 10% of the population representing, making the other 90% look bad. And I'd make the argument that it's the other way around. At least the sample size that I got around Jackson anyway. But we could all, my point being, regardless of what lens you see things through, we could all go show each other whatever it is we want them to see. Because if I said, okay, buddy, take me and make me sad, make me feel sorry for this guy. And he could take me straight to 1 to 2 to 3 homeless guys that he's familiar with. And he's familiar with their story. Maybe they're veterans, maybe, whatever the case may be. And it would tug at my heartstrings. And I could bet you I could take him to 100 more that are just crackheads, that are lazy crackheads, or whatever drug of choice. I'm just picking crack, as a catch-all here. We could all paint whatever narrative we want to paint. So anyway, I just see when people say stuff like that. Well, what have you done? One of my favorites is when people tag me and stuff. Why ain't you talked about this? I like to go look at their Facebook page to see if they've at least shared the thing that they're upset that I haven't shared. And 99.999% of the time, again, they ain't shared it either. They just think I should. Because it's always somebody black, and it's always a story about somebody white doing something, and they're just mad that I ain't shared it yet, which a lot of the times I have. They just haven't looked to see if I've done it yet. All right, let's go ahead and take this other break, stay on path, stay on course this morning. When we come back, we're going to talk about somebody white. We're going to talk about this fella up there in North Mississippi that was creating child porn with AI. Former school teacher that has been rehired in a job around here. What was it? Was it a job at a child protection agency of some sort? Yeah. Child welfare agency hires ex-teacher accused of creating child porn on the job. What is going on in North Mississippi? Is it a bunch of Memphians, a bunch of white liberals from Memphis? Have they moved into North Mississippi and they're bringing their politics with them? Their sexual deviancies with them? Is that what's going on? By the way, we didn't get to talk about it on the radio, but Lindsay Whiteside, the LGBT, maybe we did talk about it. If not, we're going to talk about it again. The LGBTQ, the rainbow supremacist, basketball coach, and youth pastor that got a slap on the hand for being a multi-state sexual predator. She's been federally charged. Now, yeah, we did talk about it, but you know what? I want to make sure we say it again. She's been federally charged now, and it looks like she will not be being released. We'll dive into that, but mainly we're going to dive into this pedophile, AI pedophile, getting another job working for a child protection agency. You can't make it up, man. They protect their own. They are so good at protecting their own and covering for their own. Isn't it? Like, who does this guy have pictures of? Has he been running like a honeypot? We'll dive into that and more. Don't go nowhere. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB, streaming worldwide at WYAB.com and all those great places, as well as in stunning HD at Clay Edwards Show on Rumble and at SaveJXN on Facebook, YouTube, and X. This segment brought to you by our good friends over there at Ellis Autoplex. You just heard Casey there on that commercial. Great folks. Swing by there. Man, they've got inventory like I've never seen it before. I rode by yesterday, I think. They've got it parked in the grass there in front of the dealership. They've got it out on the dang near to the street, busting out the seams. They got a brand new body style Toyota 4Runner. Those things are extremely popular. I'll be honest, when I first saw those, I didn't know if they were going to grow on me. I really didn't. I was like, man, you had such a winter, but it's grown on me. It really has. So swing by there, check out the new 4Runner that they got. And of course, you're looking for a 4-door, 4-wheel drive pickup. Brother, they got them all. Just what do you want? they got it. But you can swing by online 24/7, 365 at Ellis Autoplex and peep out the inventory there. And then, of course, did you know you can apply online too? That's right. You can do a secure online credit app. Save a lot of time. They can start shopping the deal for you, see what kind of qualifications you're looking at, see what you're going to need. And look, I always recommend if you're going somewhere and if you ain't got a high, good mid 700 plus credit score with active good credit on it, you're going to need to bring your proof of income with you. You're going to need to bring your proof of residence with you. You're going to have a valid driver's license. You're going to have insurance. Just simple things. Don't wait till you decide you want a car. If you're going to car shopping with the intent to buy a car, take those things with you. Save all the time in the world. Anyway, old school salesman rant there. Your time is money, man. Time is money for you and them. But stop by, see Casey and the team today, and don't forget they buy vehicles all the time. They will make you an offer on your vehicle. You tell them you heard it on the Clay Edwards Show, they will make you an offer on your vehicle. But it needs to be running. They're not buying stuff that ain't running, within reason anyway. Maybe you got an F-150 or something that just won't crank. Different story. But if you got to tow it in and it's a beater, it's a clunker, come on, man, save everybody the trouble. But look, you got a decent vehicle running, stop by, let them make you an offer on it. That's Ellis Autoplex. All right, so let's jump into this. So this is the story about the fella that was making child AI porn. There's been some follow-up here. Now, of course, we were reporting on this. I want to thank Lindsey Beckham for texting in. She rang my bell and reminded me here that the reason he was able to get this job at CPS was because he was allowed to resign, and they gave him a letter of recommendation from the school district. Not only did they not fire him for creating child porn with AI, of the students at the school that he was at, he was using their images to create child porn. They gave him a letter of recommendation. Lock everybody up. Fire up the wood chipper. Fire up the wood chipper. Let's listen to this. Oh, my God. I'm hyperventilating.
To you then. Tonight, we're learning new information in the federal case against a former Corinth, Mississippi school teacher accused of using AI to create porn videos of students. Impact Team reporter Kelly Cook aired a special report on this case back in August. As Kelly found out, Wilson Jones got another job working with children.
New court documents show after Wilson Jones left the Corinth school system, he applied for a position at the Mississippi Department of Child Protection Services. Documents also show Jones asked the state agency to not contact his former employer when applying for the job. Investigators say last November, 30-year-old Wilson Jones, a teacher at Corinth.
Full stop. That's what we call a red flag. If somebody asks you not to contact their current or especially their former employee, what should be the first thing you do? Contact their former employer. Well, why wouldn't you want me to contact them? What would they tell me that would make me not want to hire you? Now, I get it when you're in sales, especially car dealership sales, and you're potentially going to leave a dealership to go to another dealership. Well, you don't need the new dealership calling the current dealership and asking about you because, well, you would get fired or you would have your sales funnel closed off. Anyway, sorry. I just wanted to mention that should have been the first red flag for CPS idiots.
Middle school was on the job when IT school officials say they got a severe alert that illicit content was being downloaded on his school-issue computer. Corinth police officers found 5 AI-generated videos of what appeared to be Corinth female students' faces superimposed on fake bodies doing lewd acts.
Well, at least they weren't gay, I guess.
But according to new court documents, the government says they found thousands of child sexual abuse material of children that were not AI generated. Former Corinth School Superintendent Edward Lee Childress is also being federally charged and being tried alongside Jones for allowing him to resign from his job as a teacher without alerting the proper authorities in a timely manner. Childress's attorney filed 7 new motions, including a motion to sever his case with that from his co-defendant, Wilson Jones. His attorney plans to argue that Childress did alert the school board attorney as soon as he found the 5 pornographic reels. He is also asking the judge to exclude evidence that Jones worked with Child Protection Services following his resignation from the school system, arguing it unfairly plays on the jury's emotion. The trial date is set for November 17th. Kelly Cook, Action News 5.
Why aren't you homeschooling your kids? I mean, that really. So in a perfect world, what should be happening here? So if you want to try to tell me why somebody should get government assistance, hear me out here. If you want to try to tell me why somebody should get government assistance, or maybe we should create a new wing of government assistance once we clean this up and we take it away from people who don't need it, and a mother wants to become a stay-at-home mom and homeschool her children, but they got to follow some strict homeschool guidelines, and this is what you got to do. And we want to pay that mom to make sure her rent's paid and food is on that table for them kids. Or in perfect world, you wouldn't even need to do that. The father could make enough money to help pay for to cover all the bills, be a 2-parent household. But that ain't the perfect world. That don't always happen. People die, whatever. People become single parents for all kind of different reasons that are out of their control. And I don't ever want to discount that when we're talking about single moms. People are single moms for a whole host of different reasons. And a lot of them are out of their control. So in fairness. But if you wanted to tell me, Clay, we're going to create a program where we pay moms to stay home and homeschool their children, but there are these strict guidelines here that they have to follow, and the kids have to test out and do all this stuff. You could sell me on that. You could 100% sell me on that if that meant getting them out of the public school system and what is going on at some of these public schools. Now, we got some great public schools around here. Brandon, Pearl. I'm just very familiar with those two. And I'm not saying that we don't have other good ones. So I don't want to sit here and just because I'm not saying their name doesn't mean that I don't think they're good. But, I've been in Brandon. I know the superintendent of Pearl. I know the mayor of Pearl. These are good schools that are fighting the fight. But we got some really bad public schools around here, too. And we got some really bad people in these public schools. And if you want to just sell me on your kid not having to go to those schools, but you can't afford to be a stay-at-home homeschool teacher mom, you could sell me on some government assistance for that, as long as we're taking it from Quita and Ashley. They just want to go out and be welfare queens. Well, we're going to talk about that, too, coming up here in an hour, too. Oh, we're going to talk about that, some of the qualifications to get welfare. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back here on The Clay Edwards Show. Boom goes Le Dynamite. I say, I do the little French Le Dynamite. And it's kind of appropriate, right? With the Louvre being robbed, and they have been making arrests on the Louvre robbery. And that's like some national, what was that show called? What was that movie called with Nicolas Cage? National Treasure. It's like some National Treasure type stuff, isn't it? The Louvre getting robbed. What was that other show where no, not the National Treasure, the one with Tom Hanks, Angels and Demons and all that stuff, where he runs around, doing all that crazy. I love that. I loved that trilogy of movies where they chased all the stuff to the Vatican and all the secret history stuff. Man, I love history. And I'm convinced that the Catholic Church is hiding all sorts of stuff from history there at the Vatican. But anyway, that was the big vibes I got when I saw that story during the break. You can go to foxnews.com or on their Facebook page. They shared an update about the Louvre being robbed in broad daylight, man. That's wild. Anyway, back to the intro. Boom goes Le Dynamite. It's hour 2 of the most incendiary show on the, spell it with me, RADIO. This is the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. Guys, take advantage of those complimentary testosterone screenings. If you're watching online, I'm going to show y'all a current before and I wouldn't say an after, but a current progress photo of my weight loss and body transformation. And I always put this out there. I ain't finished. I'm a work in progress. I'm working out 2 hours a day. I'm dieting. I'm doing everything I can on my end to get to where I want to be. But no matter how bad off you are when you start, if you're watching on the live stream, the photo on the left, 320 pounds, had just gotten over COVID. The photo on the right, taken a couple weeks ago, 235 pounds, 239 pounds. You know, so almost 100 pounds less and just in way better shape. I've got these scales at the house where you stand on them and then you grip them. And it's Hume body measuring. HUME is the name of the scales. They better be good. They're right on they're just, it's basically the DEXA scan every time you weigh in, and it gives you all this information. And look, I'm sure it's not 100% right, but my metabolic age right now is 36 years old. So I'm feeling pretty good about the shape I'm in. But, you know, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I have smoked other things, unfortunately, but never smoked a cigarette in my life, and all but quit drinking with the exception of a few beers here and there, shot a Fireball here and there, but really happy with myself. And it all started with getting my testosterone screening there at Men's Health of Mississippi. And I kid you not. I mean, the testosterone's giving me the energy and the drive to make the changes in my personal life, my physical life that I needed to make to become a better person, to make sure that I'm here for my daughters and get to walk them down the aisle one day and get to see them grow up and get to be a grandfather and all those things that you start thinking more about as you get older and you try to take care of yourself. I don't want them to have to take care of me. I want to be able to take care of their grandkids and help them. Not their grandkids. Well, hell, their grandkids. I want to be a great grandfather one day. I want to be here as long as I can. At least I don't want to be taken out because of health. Now, if I had to become some martyr because one of these thugs around here catch me slipping, just make sure they spell my name right on my statue. I don't want to be on there as Clayton. I want to be on there as Clay. C-L-A-Y. Not with a K, not with the 3 Ks like I see online. That's not how you spell Clay. It's not Clay. It's just Clay with a C. It ain't Clay KK or any of that. Okay, KK. Anyhow. Swing by buyfafo.com and take advantage of the 50% off EBT sale right now. Promo code EBT. But also text Clay. Text Clay to 601-800-5130 for the complimentary testosterone screening from Men's Health of Mississippi. Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944. And Da Vinci Code. Thank You, Texter, was the movie I was thinking of. But they did another one called Angels and Demons. They did 3 in that series. I love those kind of movies. Those were like a biblical version of American Treasure or whatever it was called. National Treasure. All right, let's jump into it. So I got a couple more stories here. I got to open up my notes. I should have done this during the break. So something kind of funny here. I got 2 things I want to talk about first. Let's do this one first here. So last night, a friend of mine sent me a screenshot of a fella that posted pretty much a death threat under Tate Reeves' photo of him shaking J.D. Vance's hand as he got off Air Force Two or whichever. I'm assuming he was in Air Force Two because Trump's over in China in Air Force One. And under it, this guy, Bryce Green, I believe the name is. I'm pulling my X account up here because I want to make sure the people who are watching online can see his photo. And if any law enforcement is listening this morning, you guys need to go to my Facebook or my X account and at SaveJXN, and y'all need to find this guy. I put a screenshot of his Facebook profile, and somebody that knows him sent me his phone number. So we can find the guy. We can find the guy. But I've got it right here. This guy posted, take the shot. Somebody take the headshot now. Guys. Sorry, I'm looking at the caller ID here. I'm going to put a caller on hold. So this guy says, take the headshot now. Let me pull it up here because I want people online to see this. I mean, this is disgusting. Could you imagine if a conservative said that about a Democrat politician? Oh, my God. Could you imagine if Kamala Harris had been here and Clay Edwards made that same comment under a governor's post or any post that take the shot? So if you're watching online, here is the post of Tate Reeves. It says, welcome to Mississippi, Mr. Vice President J.D. Vance and Second Lady Usha Vance. And there is our governor. And look, y'all know I'm not a junk rider. You know, I'm not the biggest Tate Reeves guy. I mean, I think he's a good policy guy. You know, he's been great for business, economic development. I mean, I'll give him his flowers, but he's done some things that I am not a fan of. And I've been very outspoken, but he's also done some things that I think are great. And he's been overall a good governor. I mean, I voted for him twice, you know, kind of grin and bear it, but I voted for him twice because I can be a team player when need be. Anyway, up under it right here, I highlighted. Here's Bryce Green. He says, someone take the headshot now. Someone take the headshot now. Talking about our governor, our vice president, and his wife. Bro, roles reversed. If any of us on the conservative side has said that about any politician, if we were not white, man, they'd have had my door kicked in, helicopters rappelling over my house. Not rappelling, helicopters flying over my house with Secret Service agents rappelling out of them. Guns drawn. They'd have killed my dogs. Have we heard anything? Has Bryce Green been picked up this morning? Has the Secret Service, the FBI, anybody paid Bryce Green a visit this morning? Well, Clay, how do you know where he lives? Oh, because his Facebook page says it right here. Went to Murrah, lives in Ridgeland, from Jackson. We got his photos up here. Of course, what's funny about this is it puts off big, what was the black kid's name that got killed in Florida? The one that Obama said, if I had a son, he would look like him. And they always show the picture of him looking like an innocent little angel. So, of course, you know, the guy's got a picture of himself holding his high school diploma on graduation day, like a good little future rocket scientist. See, this is the very example of, this is a FAFO candidate here. This is the kind of guy that would get himself killed by the police because of doing some dumb stuff like this. And then his mama come out, my baby didn't do nothing. He was going to be an engineer. He was going to be a scientist. He was going to be an astronaut. He was going to be the president one day. See, look, he graduated high school. Trayvon Martin. Thank y'all. Trayvon Martin. Appreciate the Guns of Gear text line. You know, big Trayvon Martin energy here. You know, they don't show the thug that assaulted the neighborhood watchman. They show the little angel who graduated high school, or any of the other ones. And I'll be honest, the more removed we've gotten from the Trayvon Martin thing, the more I see that through both lenses. But I'm just using him as my example. The other guy's a piece of crap too. What you had there was two pieces of crap intersecting. And I don't want to turn this into a history lesson, a retro culture war segment. We fight about enough current stuff. There's no sense of fighting about things from 15 years ago. God, I can't believe it's been almost that long, if not longer. But that was the tipping point. That's what started all this, right? I mean, somehow or another, they turned that Mexican guy that killed Trayvon Martin into a white guy. Somehow we got drug into this because some Spaniard killed a black guy. That wasn't even our battle. That wasn't even our fight, but somehow we got drug into it. I guess he was the brown face of white supremacy. He was the Mexican face of white supremacy. Anyway, I'm just throwing this out there, man. Here, somebody go arrest Bryce Green. News media, WLBT, JTV, all you news media outlets that I know are listening this morning, because y'all jump right on every story we do here, which I'm glad. I ain't hating. I'm glad y'all picked up the ranch story and ran with that and brought some attention to that. But I know y'all are listening. Here is a death threat, a call to violence against our governor, against our vice president, against his wife, our second lady of these United States of America, in a public forum. We got the screenshots right here. Do something. Share this. Federales that are listening this morning, do something. Shut me up. I don't want to hear, oh, it's just internet. It's just the internet, Clay. Why are you making a big deal about it? You know he didn't mean nothing. Gonna ruin that kid's life. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm cool with that. Because I know that's what y'all would do if that kid was white. I mean, let's just use the example of like calling in a bomb threat to these high schools. We know those kids probably ain't going to blow up these high schools. But y'all go through all the pomp and circumstances to arrest them. And I ain't got a problem with that either, by the way. I fully support people effing around and finding out. I mean, imagine, just circle back to what happened a couple years ago at Northwest Rankin when a picture of a kid with his airsoft BB gun or whatever ended up floating online, and they ended up charging that kid, I think, with a felony initially. They ended up having to back off that, ended up charging him with a misdemeanor. I mean, I think it was a great overreaction, but whatever. He broke the rules. He found out. If this ain't breaking the rules, what is? Every now and then you just got to make a big deal out of stuff. Let's take a call here on the Mazda Jackson phone line.
Good morning. Oh,
hey,
can you hear me?
Yeah. Hang up and call right back. We got a bad connection. Sorry. Just call right back. All right, so before I clear these out, I just want to make sure we see them one more time. Here is our future rocket scientist on his graduation day. And look, congratulations to graduating. I don't want to take that away from you. Here's his screenshot of his Facebook page. Bryce Green is his name. 4.9 thousand friends. Need to get your weight up there. My backup account's got 14,000. And here is a screenshot of the threat or the call to violence, whatever you want to say. Someone take a headshot now is what he said, not Clay. For those listening on the radio, just tuning in, this is what Bryce Green said to Tate Reeves about J.D. Vance. Let's try this phone call again. Hey, you're on there.
Yes, Clay, I just want to say one thing. That,
yes, sir.
When you were talking about if the roles were changed, if you think back when Mr. Obama was president, they sent someone to, I think, about 30 years in prison because he was in a bar and had gotten drunk and made a statement about killing the president. Maybe you might recall.
It was a guy in Mississippi, right?
Right.
Yeah, and they also got the Elvis impersonator up there in North Mississippi, too, over all that.
You see? So now why won't they go and do something to him? This world has just turned almost like upside down. Only thing you have to do is do what's right. You don't have to just be fair. You know, just be fair to everybody. You can, even when I was in the military, they taught us this right here. Do what you're going to do to want to do the same to others. They may be able to say he's a hard guy, but they say, but he's hard, but he's fair. He treats everybody the same. Okay?
Yes,
you
sir.
have a blessed one, okay?
Thank you, brother.
Okay.
I love that, man. I'd like to have a cup of coffee or a beer if he drinks beer one day with you. Feel free to reach out to me. I would love to have a cup of coffee or buy you lunch one day. Really would. I bet you've got some great stories to tell. I love sitting down and talking to our elders. They do a Fred Shanks tells me about this coffee club. Him and Sutton go to it occasionally out there in Brandon. I'd love to sit down and go to that one day. Just call in. I'd had to call in sick one day. play hooky. But these old men that sit down, they go drink their coffee at these places, man, that's just a history lesson waiting to be taught when we get around and get a chance to talk to our elders. You know, as I say that out loud, I think I'm going to try to will something into existence. When we come back, Donald Trump is trying to sabotage my EBT apocalypse content creation plan by solving the EBT problem before it becomes a problem. And I'm not happy with it. We're going to tell you about that and more. And apparently somebody saw my TikTok that I made about it up in Ohio and called the radio station complaining about it. I love it. I love it. But Donald Trump, this is not what I voted for. This is not what I voted for. You trying to fix the EBT problem. It's about to fix itself Saturday. Survival of the sickest. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by our friends over at Burgers, Blues, Barbecue. All three great locations ready to serve you. Main Street in Madison. They're serving breakfast there right now. Get by there and try the Nashville hot chicken and waffles. Now, you don't have to get Nashville hot on it. You can get them plain, or you can get any of their other buffalo wing flavors. You could do lemon pepper chicken and waffles. I don't know how good that sounds, but you know what? I'll try anything once. Not that, Democrats. Not that. Anyway, get by there. Check them out. They got great breakfasts available there at Burgers, Blues, Barbecue. And the Madison location is the only one that does breakfast. The other two great locations are open for lunch and dinner. That is Flowood and, well, they're all three open for lunch and dinner. That's Flowood and, of course, well, Flowood at Dogwood, in case you're not familiar, right in front of Dick's Sporting Goods. And then, of course, downtown Brandon, my home base of operations at times. Love that spot, the little B3 bar there on the side. I took some friends of mine there for the first time. They didn't even know that was there. Who did I take there for that had no clue it was there? I can't remember. Was it Michael and his wife, Lee? I can't remember. Anyway, swing by, check them out. The B3 bowls. I know I've been talking about them a lot lately because they're just that dang good. Pick your protein, pick your rice, brown or white, pick your vegetables. I do all three, a sauteed medley of peppers, onions, and broccoli. And you can pick a wing sauce of your choosing or none. For the flavor, I do Nashville hot. And I'm telling you what, man, it's like $15-ish. It's 2 meals. It is 2 meals. It's that much food. And it's that dang good. Swing by, check them out today. Burgers, Blues, Barbecue. And you can shop them online at burgersblues.com. They've got one of the best digital menus I've ever seen. There's pictures of dang near everything. And here's what's great is it's tied in to locally owned Take a Break delivery. So you can order delivery on their website without having to go to a third-party site to do it. Phenomenal technology. They've done a great job with their website. Probably one of the best restaurant websites I've ever seen as far as functionality and usability. So it's really easy to use. And check out their catering menu, too, and their tailgating menu. burgersblues.com. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Donald Trump. There's 2 things that me and you have gotten sideways on, my brother. 2 things. One is school choice. And 2 is you claiming, trying to be Captain Save-A-Thug, trying to be Captain Save-A-Quine, claiming that you say SNAP benefits will be solved for November. That is not what I voted for. I voted for EBT apocalypse. And I want what I want. Let's see here. I'm having some internet issues right now. I've got too many windows open. And it is not letting me scroll here, so I know it's freezing up. So here's what Donald Trump says. Donald Trump, this is from Newsweek. Donald Trump has suggested that his administration may find a way to fund supplemental SNAP benefits during the ongoing government shutdown. Speaking on board Air Force One during a trip to Asia, Trump told reporters, quote, "We're going to get it done," but offered no details on how that might happen. And, of course, Newsweek says why it matters. Around 42 million low and no income Americans collect SNAP benefits every month. See, that's where they're fake news. It is not 42 million Americans. It's 42 million people, with 59% of them actually being illegal citizens. Well, therefore, they're not citizens. Illegal immigrants, aliens, whatever you want to call them. So anyway, it says 42 million collect SNAP benefits every month, which are uploaded onto the electric benefit transfer cards, EBT cards, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, Trump claiming that he's going to try to get this thing fixed. He's got 2 days to do it, today and tomorrow. I guess they can work on weekends. Trump is a hard worker. So, of course, he may work on the weekends. Let me read the bottom of this. Trump blamed Democrats for jeopardizing food aid for 42 million low-income Americans, saying they had put critical federal assistance at risk of expiring this weekend. Trump said on Wednesday that all the Democrats had to do was sign, appearing to suggest they could have prevented this lapse by supporting a funding bill. Well, yeah, that's exactly what he said. I mean, he's not wrong at all. The Democrats are 100% using the poor's as leverage to get what they want, which is health care for illegals. The USDA has emergency funds if normal funding avenues are not approved. However, in a memo reviewed by Newsweek, the department said that the $5 billion in contingency funds cannot be used to cover SNAP benefits because SNAP contingency funds are only available to supplement regular monthly benefits when amounts have been appropriated for. It added that the funds are reserved for programs meant to provide aid during disasters. So SNAP is screwed. It is not happening. Here's what this article is pretty interesting over at Newsweek. It says, what are people saying? The Democrats states said in a complaint filed in the U.S. District Court in Massachusetts because USDA's action SNAP benefits will be delayed for the first time since the program's inception. Yeah, a bunch of states are suing the Trump administration over this, but the Democrats have refused to sign the continued resolution of the bill. I mean, everybody agrees on that, right? Like, this is the Democrats. They're the ones not voting on the continuation of the Joe Biden spending bill. This is wild to me. You know, they started out saying that, well, Democrats not going to do it unless you undo the big, beautiful bill. And now it's, well, we got to make sure that illegals get health care. And they're publicly saying, this is not just Clay saying it here. The Democrats are publicly saying that they are using the poor people as leverage to get what they want. They're prepared. The Democrats are prepared to make the sacrifices. They know you're going to have to hurt a little bit, poor people. But you can rest easy knowing that the Democrats in Washington who aren't missing a paycheck, whose checks are still getting deposited into their bank accounts, they're willing to make the sacrifice of shutting the government down due to your sacrifices. It is one of the most selfish things I've ever seen from a group of politicians. It truly is one of the absolute most selfish things I've ever seen. They're breaking the backs of the poor's to try to give the super poor's what they want. And look, and again, I know there's people out there who are getting government assistance that are good people that have fallen on hard times, that aren't pimping the system. And to y'all and to them, that is not who I'm talking about here when I make my jokes. I am talking about the EBT queens, and I'm talking about white people too. So please do not get this twisted. This ain't a race conversation. Now, it can be. These reaction videos, these threats of robbing, looting, stealing, and all that, that is overwhelmingly 999 to 1 black over white making these videos threatening to rob stores and assault store workers who attempt to keep them from stealing food, that's black folks. You know, and I'll fight anybody that tries to tell me otherwise, because you are just lying. You are foundationally lying. You're being intellectually dishonest if you try to say otherwise. Man, that Newsweek site was absolutely slaughtering my computer here. I don't know what they had going on there, but I don't know that if anybody watching online was able to hear a word I said. Anyway, let's take a break real quick, come back. I got a few more topics I want to hit kind of along this. I got into an argument with somebody. I had a post go kind of viral yesterday on Facebook. I said, repeat after me. Whoa, I want to make sure I get it 100% right here. But I want to dive into it. I said, repeat after me. You were supposed to be looking for a job while you were on food stamps. You were supposed to be looking for a job while you were on food stamps. You were supposed to be looking for a job while you were on food stamps. You were supposed to be looking for a job while you were on food stamps. And somebody got in the comments and said, it's against the law not to have a job to get benefits. You have to have a job to get benefits. You know, a simple Google search would debunk that. And I made that search, and I took a deep dive into it, and we're going to discuss that. What did I find in my search? Pretty interesting stuff here. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back. The Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by friends out at Cypress Point Resort. Swing by there this weekend and do the haunted house or haunted trail, whatever you want to call it there. It's really cool, man. I did it Saturday night, and they got me. They actually scared me. They can scare you too. Swing by, check it out this weekend. Family fun to be had for everybody. They got the pumpkin patch. They got the haunted house or trail. So if it is a little wet, you know, if it's raining, I don't think you can do it, but otherwise, get out there and check it out. And, of course, they got Cameron's Garage, all the great sports bar and live entertainment goes on there. You got the steakhouse. You got the tavern, which is one of the coolest whiskey bars in the area, bourbon bars, great steaks, seafood, and more. Cypress Point Resort. Hey, don't forget, you can rent a cabin out there. You can do a staycation. Get one of the cabins back in the back, around $100 a night, give or take a few dollars. And you never have to leave. They got grills back there. You got the general store up front with a great butcher selling high-end premium meats. That's right. They got a butcher shop, a good OG old-school butcher shop right there at Cypress Point Resort. Check them out today, Holly Bush Road, Rankin County. You know, also, if you're in Jackson looking for some great food, steaks, seafood, bourbon, swing by the Manship. Also, at happy hour, some of the best. I talked about those pizzas at Key City. You ain't got to go to Vicksburg to get a great wood fire pizza. You can get one right downtown in Jackson at Bellhaven there, in the Bellhaven. That's the name of the building, at the Manship. Check them out today. Voted one of the top 150 bourbon bars in America. And I think they got a chance of being a Michelin star restaurant. I know the place around the corner from them is probably about to be one of the first Mississippi restaurants to ever get a Michelin star. But I called it here when I had Stephen O'Neill, the owner, on the show a few months back. I said, I think you guys are going to get one. And whether they do or not, I have no control over. But there's no reason why the Manship should not be a Michelin star-rated restaurant. But, hey, that doesn't matter. I mean, it matters to them because people will want to come and try them out. But it doesn't matter to me. I don't need them to get it to know it's great food. Swing by, check them out today. You got the 70, I think it's number 75 or 76 ranked bourbon whiskey bar in America, right here in Jackson, Mississippi, right across from the Baptist Hospital, the Manship. Take advantage of that, man. Go support that. All right, so welfare, EBT. We've talked about this ad nauseum, and look, I just think it's a great opportunity for America to get to have this conversation because we've never really got to have a real honest conversation about EBT and the abuse of that program. The fact that there's 42 million Americans or 42 million people getting welfare of some sort should be eye-opening to everybody. Like, now that people are really looking into this thing and the media is being forced to talk about it and normal Americans, normal hardworking Americans who 30% plus of their paycheck is coming out every month to pay for these social programs. Because they're all social programs. All taxes are social programs, as far as I'm concerned. These social safety nets. There ain't 42 million people that aren't able to work. There's 42 million lazy people. I mean, really, you probably got a couple million people who are legitimately disabled. Legitimately disabled. The rest are just freeloaders. So I Googled what did I? Let me pull my phone up here. Sorry, I thought I saved the link, but maybe I did. Let me look on my Grok real quick here, because I'm pretty sure I saved this link without having to. No, I didn't do it on Grok. That's why. Hold on, I'm almost there. I'm pulling it up on my Facebook real quick here on my phone. Not even trying to do the computer. And I just asked, and I just want to run down, y'all, the exact qualifications for this nonsense. Where's that girl, Kendall, that made a smart-ass comment here? And we will have this conversation. Because she said that, people have to. Looks like she may have deleted her comment. She may have deleted her comment. But she said people have to have a job to get SNAP benefits. Where's like the one with the most relevant? Yeah, I thought it would pop up at the top here, but unfortunately it didn't, because I had all my comments were in the comment there. But so I just Googled, do you have to have a job to get welfare? And Google says, yes, you have to have a job to get welfare unless ... And one of the things were, if you are taking care of young children 6 years old or younger. If you got a kid under 6, you get to get benefits of some form, fashion, or another. Well, guys, that's the crawl in most of our soft spots there, is the fact that you can just pop out a kid every 6 years and stay on some type of social benefits. So if you'll start noticing, there's a particular group of people who space their kids out just right. See, I learned a lot when I was at that buy here, pay here dealership, but y'all should have never let me work at a buy here, pay here dealership in Jackson, because I learned the ghetto hustle on what y'all are doing with these kids and how you move them around like chess pieces. How you'll give your sister one of them. Oh, y'all didn't know that? Y'all didn't know that that's how it happened when the auntie is raising them? When the mama's raising them? Y'all didn't know that was so mama and auntie could get benefits? That's right. That's right. They'll move them around like chess pieces. There's always somebody having a kid every 6 years, at least. So they space it out. They always got another one in the pipeline. Or if somebody ages out of being able to have kids, they just have an extra one and give them one of theirs. Y'all think I'm making this up? I am not making this up. You might not like the messenger. You may not like the way I say it, because I'm a bull in a china shop, like Miley Cyrus on a wrecking ball coming through here. But you can't prove me wrong. And that is what people are fed up with. That is what we want to eliminate. We are tired of these professional, generational grifters abusing the system, manipulating taxpayers. What about my children? You shouldn't have had them. And you know what's crazy? The overwhelming majority of these people crying about their EBT, they're all fat. Skip a meal. That'd be a good start. Like if I was on EBT and I'd known for the last month that there was a possibility that my EBT was going to get cut off, I would have been, at minimum, if we're not even going to do the normal thing, like, I don't know, look for a job, at minimum, I would have started trying to spare my food a little bit more, stretch out my supplies, not eat 3 meals, not eat filet mignon, maybe just eat 1 meal a day if I had to, or maybe 2 meals a day. But, that ain't what they're doing. They've gotten addicted to the welfare. We've got these people hooked to government assistance like crack. And they're about to have to go cold turkey. Cut off cold turkey here in 2 days. I suspect by week 2 of this, if we make it, fingers crossed, if we make it to week 2 of no EBT, that's when the real poop show gonna get started around here. The station boss was telling me a minute ago, because I made a TikTok about this, and I said, Donald Trump, this is not what I voted for. Don't be trying to save Snap. Some woman up in Ohio got so offended she called the radio station trying to get me canceled. Good times, man. Good times. We're on the right side of history. Sometimes you just got to cut these programs off. I've been saying it for a while now. The only way you're going to get these people off the tit is you're just going to have to cut them off of it one way or another. Cold turkey, man. It's the best way to do it. We'll be right back. All right, online viewers. Wish I had 3 hours today. Because I got so much more I could add to this. Fun show. We've been on some burners lately, man. The numbers have been through the roof. The live streams, asking people to get up and watch a live stream at 7 a.m. is a big ask. But the numbers throughout the day end up doing really well. So I'm excited about that. The podcast downloads have been through the roof here lately. I don't know what happened, but they've tripled over the last few weeks. So good stuff there. The Facebook, we're averaging 25 million viewers a month right now on Facebook. That's massive. So people can hate all they want to on me, but they're tuning in. But screw the haters. The people who actually come because they enjoy this, thank y'all so much. I really do appreciate your support. And, we're going to do what we got to do. Let's see if this EBT apocalypse actually happens. And if it does, we'll find a church with a pantry, that's actually paying attention and not just letting the welfare queens rob it, pull up in their Escalades and get free food. But we'll find somewhere that's paying attention, knows the people really need the food, and we'll do a food drive for one of these food pantries. Again, that we know is going to people that need it. I'm not doing a food drive for somebody who drives a more expensive car than I do and is getting government assistance and their EBT got cut off. I'm not helping irresponsible people. We'll help people in need. Just like the attorney that wanted me to go down there and eat with homeless people. I will help people in need. We can all find people in need. I'm not helping people who have made bad life choices and need assistance. I'm not doing that. No, not doing it. Mr. Bennett, I see your post here. I'm not. You should have been listening to the first half of the show. I have nothing to prove. I'm not going to talk to homeless people with you. I worked downtown for 15 years. Grew up in Jackson for 40 plus years. I've talked to plenty of homeless people in my life. You can check my resume. I've done plenty for Shower Power and others. I don't need to go chit-chat with homeless people for clicks and views. Go back and listen to the first 20 minutes of the show. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Be blessed. Just to put an explanation point at the end of the sentence, the attorney that was trying to get me to go eat with the homeless people, for clicks and views for his social media, is, of course, now attacking me on social media, called me a carpetbagger. How am I a carpetbagger? I'm from here. I grew here. You flew here. I'll see y'all tomorrow where I fly back down here. Peace.